It is 7:09, and at this point I would open the public hearing for the purpose of hearing suggestions for the Village of Tivoli's application to Dutchess County's Department of Planning for the 2013 Community Development Block Grant. Is there anyone wishing to address the board on their suggestions on what the village should apply for to Dutchess County's Department of Planning? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion has been made by the deputy mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It is 7:10. Trustee Griffith, is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there anyone wishing to address the board on agenda items only? This would be on any item on the agenda tonight. Seeing none, is there a motion to return to regular business?
So moved.
Motion has been made by the deputy mayor and seconded by trustee Griffith. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to regular business. Village clerk's report.
We have a clerk's report this month,
Excellent.
as requested. We're going to go over, it's going to be a little long this month because it's been a busy month, and then it'll be shorter in the future. I just wanted to give a little overview of everything that's happening. So first and foremost, and very important, are 420 trash tags that were sold. We produced water and sewer bills. It was manual entry of 475 bills. With the water sewer bills, there's also a pre-billing report that has to be generated. Then we in-house print the bills, fold them, place them in envelopes, and stamp them. Then once the bills go out, of course, payments come in. So we received almost 475 payments. We also create and edit the village newsletter quarterly, so that happened with the bills that went out. We had 2 FOIL requests, 2 Freedom of Information requests, which totaled approximately 2,500 pages. People have asked why there's so many boxes in the village offices this month. That's why we had to pull boxes for the 2,500 pages. The deputy clerk also does the vouchers to pay the bills, which you see in the treasurer's report. She produced 40 vouchers this month. We issued handicap parking permits and death certificates this month. We're working on some grants that are currently in progress, the administration of some of the grants. We currently have the 2011 CDBG grant for Memorial Park in process. We have the 2012 CDBG grant for sidewalks throughout the village. The application is in process. We're preparing with the engineer for the 2013 CDB application to be done. We have a grant outstanding for the Hudson Valley Greenway grant for the sidewalk design for the riverfront, pending also. And we're hoping to close out the clean air grant for the composting bins that are in place. We have almost daily website maintenance that happens in the clerk's office. We have this board meeting, of course, with preparation and minutes for this board meeting. The deputy clerk also has had a planning board meeting this month and a workshop, so she was responsible for minutes for that. We have 2 workplace violence and sexual harassment seminars taking place this month here in the village. The deputy clerk and I are working on updating the general code, which needs to be updated not only online, but also the books will need to be updated once those are ordered. As always, when you work in the village, you would want to be paid, so we had 2 payrolls this month. And we have a holiday coming up on November 12th.
Thank you, Clerk Canella. With regards to those grants that the clerk discussed, Pete Sotero, who is one of the partners with Morris Associates, will be up tomorrow to meet with the clerk and deputy clerk and myself to talk about getting those grants moving forward, especially with regards to the Greenway grant. There's some questions that we have with regards to that, so they're going to come up so we can actually get moving on that one. And also, since the CDBGs are paid through county dollars, there's a lot of paperwork that's required and a lot of questions that we had with regards to payments to return, that everybody's getting paid from the actual contractors to the engineers. So they're coming up tomorrow. We're going to be meeting to discuss how we do this. There's a lot of questions that we have. The previous village engineer used to handle a lot of this, but we're taking more of it on and doing it in-house, but we want to make sure we're doing it properly. So as soon as we get this discussion taken care of tomorrow, then we can start on the Greenway grant to move down this with the sidewalk design. So thank you, Clerk Canella. Moving on to minutes from previous meetings. In your packets, there are minutes from September 19th, which was a public hearing meeting regarding the zoning changes. Also, are the regular board meeting minutes from September 19th as well. And I'd like to take them to be approved together. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes for both the public hearing and the regular board meeting on the September 19th.
So moved.
Motion's been made by the deputy mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to schedule of upcoming events. Trustee Bruno?
Yes, we have Halloween coming up. For both age groups. This will be our second teen Halloween. The Recreation Committee is planning a Rocktober. This will be held on Friday, October 26th, 6 to 9:30 at the Masonic Lodge. $5 will get the teens in the door. They'll get pizza, soda, and music from local bands for 3 hours or more. They're going to be doing a lot. Come in costume. There'll be a costume contest along with prizes. So I think it's going to be a great thing for teens to have something to do on a Friday night. There'll be food available for purchase, baked goods, so they should have a great time. Second, the younger children in the village, the following day, Saturday, October 27th, 1:30 to 3:30. This party was first announced and planned that it would take place at the Masons as well. However, it's been moved to the firehouse. And at this event, there'll be pumpkin decorating, costume parade for the little ones, arts and crafts, apple, cider, and donuts. And yes, there'll be Halloween candy for all the kids. And my thanks goes out to the Recreation Committee. They put a lot of time and effort into planning these. And I think they feel as I do that it's a pleasure to plan these, and we hope that all of the kids, teens, and the young ones enjoy themselves.
And on Veterans Day at 11 o'clock on Monument Hill, we'll be holding, the Harris Smith Post will be holding their Veterans Day ceremony, and we'll be dedicating the new benches. So it's actually on this Sunday, which is actually Veterans Day, at 11 o'clock on Monument Hill. And so please join us for that. We'll be dedicating the new Veterans Memorial benches there. Clerk Canal, is there anything else you want to, in regards to upcoming events? Okay. Moving on to the Treasurer's report. You've all had an opportunity to review the Treasurer's report. I would draw your attention to two bond payments. One is for $41,600, which is for payment of the Woodmark we hope to have that paid off by 2014. That is now down to $124,800. 2 years ago it was $208,000. So I wanted to draw your attention to that. In the general fund, we are paying $32,313.14. Out of the water fund, $49,594.81. Sewer, $4,894.09 for a grand total of $86,802.04. At this point, I would entertain a motion to approve the Treasurer's report.
So moved.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You've also had an opportunity to review, obviously, all of your vouchers with regards to the payments. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve payment of the bills for this month.
So moved.
Motion's been made by the deputy mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also, with regards to the finances We have some budget modifications that we need to make. This month, we have a budget modification with regards to the FEMA funds that we have received. This is for an amount of $8,118.47 we received from FEMA following the hurricane last year. And this is for damage that took place down at the sewer plant. So at this point, I entertain a motion to approve that budget modification.
So moved.
Motion's been made by trustee Griffith. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, a roll call vote. Deputy Mayor Leedy,
Aye.
trustee Bruno,
Aye.
trustee Griffith,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Roll call vote since we're dealing with the FEMA.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. Trustee Israedi is unfortunately not able to be here. She's not feeling well. So as soon as I find where the zoning report is, I'd be more than happy to read it to you.
Should be in trustee report. Beginning trustee
Okay, these are closed permits as reported by the zoning office. There was a shed on Memorial Drive. That work permit has been closed. There was also a home on North Road with renovations of their second floor bathroom and closet. That has been closed. And it looks like that is... Actually, there's 3, but I don't have a description for the other one. There's property on Route 9G. But they're all closed reports, so there's no active report there, just closing out those permits. Okay, moving on.
Mayor, the second page has the fee report.
I apologize.
I'm sorry.
Total fees collected this month is $425. Thank you very much. So that breaks down to a $50, a $225, and a $150 fee. Moving on to the 2013 CDBG application. We have been talking about the CDBG application for a few months. There was a conversation that took place with myself, the Superintendent of Public Works, Dutchess County Planning, and Village Engineer Ron Evangelista. And I spoke to the board earlier. We would like to make a recommendation to Dutchess County Planning for the CDBG to include the application to include some water main work that needs to be repaired along Broadway. So it'd be from Madeline Bridge east to 9G, replacing some valves and some water lines there. The cost that we would be applying for is $150,000 to Dutchess County Department of Planning. This is a community development block grant. Superintendent Simmons feels this is what needs attention immediately. We've had some water breaks down at that section of Broadway in the past, and hopefully this would rectify it. We're aware that there are some other water mains and valves that need to be replaced in other sections of the village. But our hope is that when this task force begins to meet, that we'll be able to identify those areas, and then with a capital project, be able to address those. But this project would be specific for Madeline Bridge east, and obviously we also know that Madeline Bridge is slated at some point to be repaired. So hopefully this timing would be able to coincide together with replacing of those mains and the valves, and also with the stone bridge. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve an application to Dutchess County Department of Planning for the 2013 CDBG to include repairs for the water mains and valves from Madeline Bridge east.
So moved.
Motion's been made by trustee Griffith. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Is there any discussion? I spoke with trustee Israedi via email. She also agreed, since the superintendent is recommending this, that this is obviously an issue that we need to consider. Any further discussion? Seeing none, a roll call vote. Deputy Mayor Leedy.
Aye.
Trustee Bruno.
Aye.
Trustee Griffith.
Aye.
And I vote aye. We have to send that on to Ron Evangelista tomorrow, so
Yes.
he has that. Moving on to item number 2, and Deputy Clerk Roth, I hope you're listening. This is for boiler bids for this year. We needed to replace our boiler that completely conked out last year, literally at the end of the winter, beginning of the spring. We have gotten, we received 3 bids, and one from Botini Fuel, one from Costco that we used previously, and the other bid,
Payless.
thank you very much, from Payless. We have reviewed all of these bids, and it is my recommendation to
We
the
actually
board.
had 4 bids.
4 bids?
Sorry, yeah, Pro Services.
Pro Services, that was attached to the other item. It is my recommendation to the Board of Trustees that we would receive the best value from Costco. Costco's bid, when it came in, addresses some of the repair work and the undercoating that needs to be done under the actual boiler. One of the reasons that we found out that the boiler needed to be repaired and completely shut down was because of the rust that was occurring. Costco's bid was very detailed and came in and told us exactly what we would need to do to prevent any more rust and prevent us from having to go out and replace the replace a boiler sooner. But I'm confident that Costco's bid is the most detailed bid, and I believe that this would be the best value for the village. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve awarding the bid to Costco.
So moved.
Motion's been made by the deputy mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And again, our hope is that as soon as they receive notice that we're awarding them the bid, that they can start that work very soon.
I'm sure Deputy
Clerk office
Will be
appreciative
calling first thing in the morning.
of that. Moving on, this is authorization to close on an escrow account for Messina Herard property at 23 Broadway. Ms. Herard had given us an escrow check for work that needed to be done setting up a new water line. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to close out that escrow account for Ms. Herard.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Trustee Griffith. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last Saturday, I attended the closing of the bicentennial celebration at the Elmendorf Inn. Myself, Supervisor Crane, Mayor Blundell, County Executive Molinaro, we all submitted items to be included in a time capsule that was lowered into the ground that closed out the celebration. The Village Tivoli submitted a new book that is out by Bernie Teeger, that Trustee Griffiths will talk about later. We submitted that. We submitted a note from the mayor's office and also a Village of Tivoli lapel pin. I want to thank Loretta Campagna and Sandy Martin and all members of that bicentennial committee for the work that went into planning all of those events and actually getting all those events up and running, and they were all a true success. So I'm very, very appreciative that they asked the Village of Tivoli to be part of that, and my thanks to them for everything that they did. And now, if you go up to the Elmendorf Inn, to the left of the building is a plaque that shows you the time capsules that were lowered in there. So it was great fun to be part of that. We've been asked when the shuttle stop will move over to the park. Dutchess County and the Village of Tivoli signed on to an intermunicipal agreement. The Dutchess County donated a shelter to the Village of Tivoli, a bus shelter, and we will be installing that shelter over at Memorial Park soon. We're waiting for some specs to come in from Dutchess County, and we're also looking to light it. So as soon as that shelter is lit and installed, the bus stop will move over to Memorial Park, and we'll move it out of the residential area here. So our hope is that we get those specs in soon from Dutchess County so that we can get that installed and get it lit. But I want to thank the residents who live along Broadway there, who have been for far too long tolerating crowds out in front of their homes. So we're moving it over to the shuttle, we're moving it over to the park as soon as we get the specs in. We do want to get it in soon because of the weather. So we want to get that concrete slab laid down soon. There was an article in the Red Hook Observer that talked, it was very good, by the way, Riley. I want to thank you. It was a very detailed article that talked about the shuttle continuing to run in the Village of Tivoli until 3 a.m., and that is the Bard College shuttle. Last month I was here talking about how grateful I was that Bard College decided to stop the shuttle at midnight. They have since changed their mind, and a smaller shuttle will continue to run in and out of the Village of Tivoli up until 3 a.m. Bard has told us that this will be a shuttle only for Village of Tivoli residents accessing the college and back. But they're still running that shuttle to 3 a.m. Let there be no mistake, I disagree with that shuttle running until 3. I think it should stop and coincide with the operation of the college's library. But that is the Bard College decision, and I disagree with it. And we're hopeful that we won't see the problems that we've had in the past, but we are continuing to have police monitoring that situation. But the shuttle will run until 3, but it is a smaller shuttle. They tell us it's only for Bard College students that live in the Village of Tivoli. And if I understand correctly, they'll have to show an ID, if I understand.
Yeah, there are many well-intended safeguards, which we appreciate, and it's a very different animal than the big bus that we're all too familiar with. So the safeguards include a special ID where students have to, they would only be students who can prove they live in Tivoli, that they rent here in the village. It's a one-way shuttle, which only carries passengers from campus into the village, not back to campus. And it's also a 14-seat bus, as opposed to the larger one, which is about 32. So hopefully those safeguards will, address the problem. I agree with Mayor Crenna. I'm skeptical about the hours, but hopefully we won't see any problems.
We're keeping our fingers crossed. The next board meeting will be held Tuesday.
It's going to be Tuesday.
It's going to be Tuesday, November 20th at 7 p.m. Workshop at 6 because Wednesday, we didn't think having a meeting the Wednesday before Thanksgiving would...
And we'll be posting those
Right.
notices on the website and around the village
Right.
and in the paper.
So it'll be Tuesday, November 20th, 7 p.m. and a 6 o'clock workshop in my office. Regular workshop, of course, will be November 14th, 6 p.m. in my office. Moving on to trustee reports, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Okay. Got a note from Jim, and as far as the waste management goes, everything was good there. Moving on to the water report, our Bowl lot pumped 76,000 gallons, 500 for an average of 7 gallons per minute. It was shut down most of the month. Our Mac 1 well pumped 300,700 gallons. That also averaged about 7 gallons a minute. Our 2 PW well pumped 288,300 gallons for, again, an average of 7 gallons per minute. 5 PW well, 276,800 gallons for 6 gallons per minute. 4 PE, 10 PE wells, total of 531 gallons and 531,800 gallons for an average of 12 gallons per minute out of that well, for those wells. Our Woodmark well pumped 755,200 gallons, and that averaged roughly about 18 gallons per minute. We did have a power outage that lasted for roughly about 17 hours on September 18th, going into the 19th. And we had a water main break last month at the pump house. It was actually a transmission line that broke at the pump house. And that is all I have at the moment.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Leedy. Trustee Bruno.
Yes, the good news is that if anyone has been through Memorial Park, BTM or Blacktop Maintenance has begun their work, so we've had more progress. And our DPW will also assist in some repairs in the park. With their expertise and assistance, along with what's going on so far with one-way construction and blacktop maintenance, we're continuing to move in the direction of making Memorial Park better and better. There's still a lot of work though, that we would love to complete. Volunteers would be terrific. As they say, many hands make light work. If you have time, skill, if you're a great painter, please, you can contact me through the clerk's office. We would love to have help, and we'll be setting up a day soon in order to make some things happen. Just again about the Halloween parties, the 26th for the teens, 27th for the young ones, and these parties, along with the details, are posted on the website. As I always do, just make a plug for the library. They continuously plan wonderful events. Please go, all ages, and you will find something for you. So here we are talking about Halloween, and the meeting will be a day early for Thanksgiving. Following that will be Winterfest. It is a fantastic event, something that the board, myself, we love to have this event in the village. And we've been doing it for many years, but in a trying economy, it is difficult to do everything that we have in the past. If anyone could help the village with a donation toward any aspect of this event, we'd be so appreciative. It really has come to be quite a draw, I think, for residents and for adjoining communities as well. And it is wonderful to plan these and to have an opportunity for residents and friends and family to celebrate holidays, but also just Tivoli's winter. It is a terrific opportunity, and if anyone could help, we would be very much appreciative.
Because this year there are no fireworks planned for Winterfest. It'll be the first year, and I don't know how many years, that Winterfest does not include fireworks. But I cannot see spending nearly $3,000 on fireworks when I'm denying DPW and the Fire Department and Rescue Squad funding. So we would like to have the fireworks since it's an annual tradition. So we are soliciting donations from residents and businesses. If you would like to have the fireworks this year, please contact me or the clerk's office and let us know, and we'd be more than happy to take a donation for that. And it's not a good feeling for me as mayor to not have fireworks as the tree is lit. It's an annual tradition, but it's a different time we live in. So, Trustee Griffith.
Begin with the court report, charge volume summary, charges from September 1st through September 30th, 2012. Total charges received, 20. Total charges disposed, 12. Total money collected and remitted to the state comptroller in fines, $295. Surcharges, $170. Civil fees, $29, for a total of $494. The next thing I have is a lot more fun, I have to say. I rarely have anything under my bailiwick of architectural and historic resources, so when I do, it's a thrill. And here it is. Bernard Teeger's new History of Tivoli is published. It's called Tivoli, The Making of a Community. It's 160 pages, about 40 absolutely fascinating historic photographs of the village. I'm on about 60 pages in. I'm up to about 1875 or so in the village history, and so many things I didn't know as a lifelong resident, and several myths that I think many of us held, which have been mildly corrected by this outstanding historian. Bernard Teeger, of course, owns Village Books down the street. That's where this book is going to be available starting this Saturday. Bernard first came to Tivoli in 1967 as a new hire in the sociology department at Bard College, and like many faculty of that era, moved his young family into the village of Tivoli. He continued to teach there until 1988 when he retired and started his bookstore here. And he's been in the village now for 45 years. He's spent several years working on this, researching and writing this book. It's fabulous, and I hope everyone gets a chance to read it so we all know a little bit more about this village that we love so much.
And that painting on the cover, it looks familiar.
This painting is owned by all of us here in the village. It hangs downstairs. I'm absolutely thrilled and proud that Bernard selected this image, a painting of mine that I did in 2003 when then Mayor Mark Molinaro hired a young painter just starting out to document the village. So it's a thrilling honor for me to get the cover of this book as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are there any anything further from the board? Anyone wishing to address the board?
Yeah, I have a couple of issues.
Yes.
My name's Greg Remnick. I live down the end of North Road. I was one of the village's police officers for a good number of years. And Bard College and, well, the students that live in the area, they may be extremely intelligent in some ways, but I wouldn't want to call them the dumbest in the world when it comes to driving. And it gets to one of the sewer drains on the corner of Pine Street as you approach North Road. I'm getting ready to make a left turn as I'm approaching it. This car load with students yelling like crazy, cut clean across. I veered into that culvert and the sewer plate there, it's almost like a chisel. It cost me a tire and a rim. That's how hard I hit it. By the time I got home, and I don't know, maybe the front end's still out of whack. But that also brings to mind the article in the paper about the drinking of the students. I don't know how many people come past the road, but as they approach the speed limit increase, they're coming down. Somebody's going to get killed.
What area are you talking about?
I'm on the right-hand side of North Road, just hit, you get outside of the village. I'm
Right.
right past Bernie Tigger, he's my neighbor. And they're driving like lunatics. I came home from the city with my wife the other night, coming up the road, there's an Escalade backing across a double yellow line and makes a U-turn down the hill. Anybody that seems to have an Escalade or anything in $100,000 category, I'm in front of the post office one day, van is backing in, individuals got their elbow on the steering wheel for steering, cell phone in the right hand, and it turns out to be a woman who's putting on her lipstick in the mirror. She can't see me in the back. I don't know why we don't have a police officer on duty 24 hours a day. Somebody's got to do something with it, or somebody who doesn't have the driving skills that I have. I drove over 500,000 miles across the road, hauling everything, without a scratch, without a ticket or anything. So it just aggravates the living hell out of me. It really is. I just, you know, can't afford a police officer, or don't have an interest in it, or, you know, at one time you could give what they call a citizen's observation, and you could fill out a form, and, you know, they'd serve a ticket on that. But I talked to 2 troopers recently, and they said, no more,
Right.
for whatever reason. It's crazy here. Nobody parks by the curb, except me. I got scuffed tires. A number of people, but most of them, they're not within a foot of the road goes meant for the cars and the trucks. Heavy equipment coming up from the river, not state-owned, not county-owned, work being done on other estates that come through the village. You see the street, the bridges, the roads were only done a few years ago, unless I'm mistaken. You know, it's like free-for-all here, do what you want. The guy that's building around the corner on the old property just off Woods Road and the other road there, same section, whichever one it is, he's outside of the village. But his helicopters come over my damn house quite frequently, to the point that my sheet metal won't boom, 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 boom. And they said, oh, I didn't have any helicopters. Heavy equipment, so heavy when it turns, it grates the road up. The town just did that road up there a few years ago back. It's all crumbled, all broken, leaching water, which freezes before the snow does. Somebody's gonna get killed. That's it. I could rant on forever, but I didn't come here to be a pest.
No, I appreciate you coming in. I would love to have police coverage on 24 hours. The issue now is that we just can't. We have police coverage on throughout the week, on various days, various times. I don't want to go into detail on camera as to when we have them in here, but there are police officers on. Yeah, the Dutchess County Sheriffs that are in, State Police, Village of Red Hook, CSX Police, and the State Park Police are in various times. But we budgeted, I think, $35,000 for police coverage this year alone, and I can't afford to do any more. I would love to bring more police coverage on. We just can't afford it.
If you hear it happens over there.
Right.
Yeah, I went through it.
Yeah.
I had a kid that was running through the village trying to drive me crazy. And that night, I just happened to walk to the village to get the patrol car. My wife needed the van. I'm just on the way to walk home and I hear this car coming. I said, I got him now. Coming up from the river, and sure enough, pulled up. I stood right before me, the saloon, and I saw him. Yeah. Never had trouble with the kid after that. That's it.
Thank you for coming. Go ahead.
If I may,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Reminick, well, I thank you for coming, and I share your concerns, and as Mayor Crana said, it's not that we wouldn't like to have 24-hour coverage. We just have such a tight budget in it, it's expensive.
Well,
however, I want to let you know that in the last 2 weeks, well, Deputy Mayor Leedy and myself, we met with the new captain of the sheriff's, Captain Watterson, who was here at our last meeting, and I feel we have a much closer relationship now as far as being able to let the sheriff's department, who Tivoli uses to do our policing, know the specific kinds of issues we have, kinds of complaints, where they're happening, and I mean, I feel as a trustee, and I think the rest of the board feels the same way, that we have a very direct communication with them, so I'm very happy to pass along these specific concerns that you've addressed, so that, you know, next time the officer is patrolling, you know, we can say, don't forget the speeding out on North Road. You're not the only resident from out there that I've heard this complaint from, you know, and personally that, you know, so many of us do the loop, whether on foot or with our dog or on a bicycle, and I personally know how fast cars go down there where you are.
Bicycle is a bad word today. They had a pass through here wherever they were going in a group Saturday, and I'm coming down the road, it's just twilight, and a group of them come out around the parked car, so I accelerated a little bit, and then another group came out around that group, and I went, and it cost me my mirror. Like, yo, what are you gonna do? Thank God it was a mailbox I hit, not somebody else on a bike or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying as a local cyclist myself,
Yeah.
I've had some scary calls down in that corner where you are. But anyway, my point is that you know, you've told us a lot tonight, and please continue to tell us in the future so that we can let the deputies know, or the sheriffs know, what kinds of things they should be looking for when they come to the village.
They're pretty
Because
receptive.
we know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm
They
sure.
don't
I mean,
necessarily live here, but if we
nobody
include
is,
them in
you know,
from comments like your own this evening, that's very helpful.
yeah, well,
Thank you. Come
Okay.
again. It's the first time I've seen you here, so come again, okay?
Greg
Yeah.
and I go back a long way. I used to be Greg's banker way back.
yeah, a long way. Well, we were up here 43 years after we came up from Brooklyn. If I had $10,000, I'd be a multiple house owner here.
Anything further? At this point, I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting in honor of our former clerk that passed away during Chroma.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. We are adjourned.